Good morning, everyone. I'd like to begin this show by giving all praise due to the Most High and His Son, Jesus Christ. It is through them that I am being sent with this truth as a chance for grace and redemption and salvation for us all. The Gettysburg Address. So, Lincoln, he was sent by God Himself to lead the nation into a more peaceful, prosperous direction. Previously, it had been a lot of bloodshed, a lot of genocide, a lot of thievery. So, God sent Lincoln and raised Lincoln to bring the foreign and domestic people together as one. And the Civil War occurred. And after this Civil War, Lincoln attempted once again to bring the nation together. He spoke of redemption. He spoke of freedom. He spoke of forgiveness. Once again, God had chosen Lincoln to bring the people back together as one. So today we're going to take a short look at the Gettysburg Address. Let's get to it. Once again, people, I'm trying to keep it simple and make something that may seem complicated into something very simple and in a short form. Okay. On November 19th, 1863, the Gettysburg Address. We're on history.com at this moment. Pay no attention to the false pictures. President Abraham Lincoln delivered remarks which later became known as the Gettysburg Address at the official dedication ceremony for the National Cemetery of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania, on the site of one of the bloodiest and most decisive battles of the Civil War. Though he was not the featured orator of the day, Lincoln's brief address would be remembered as one of the most important speeches in American history. In it, he invoked the principles of human equality contained in the Declaration of Independence and connected the sacrifices of the Civil War with the desire for a new birth of freedom, as well as the all-important preservation of the Union created in 1776 and its ideal of self-government. Burying the dead at Gettysburg. From July 1st to July 3rd, 1863, the invading forces of General Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army clashed with the Army of the Potomac under the newly appointed leader, General George G. Meade, in Gettysburg, some 35 miles southwest of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Casualties were high on both sides. Out of the roughly 170,000 Union and Confederate soldiers, there were 23,000 Union casualties. Okay, on previous shows, we spoke on how the Civil War was actually an insurrection against Abraham Lincoln trying to bring in the reconstruction of the nation. The banks did prefer to continue moving in the direction of this new debt slavery and fiat land that they were currently developing. Shortly after the Gettysburg Address, they began to introduce the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, which would give them the green light to go ahead and induct this new form of debt slavery, to induct this new version of the land, and to turn everyone completely against the will of God. Okay. Once again, although I speak about history, what I'm actually doing is showing and introducing to the people how the Afro-Americans, the indigenous people of the land, lost sight of God, turned their back on God, and ended up in the situation that we find ourselves in today in this land, in the midst of wars and rumors of wars, famine, and plague. It's important that we understand what occurred so that we understand what we must do in order to get back to the salvation and redemption that I speak of at the beginning of each show. The Lord is on his way, but first this truth must be revealed to the people. So everyone heard of the Gettysburg Address, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. But what I wanted to do was make sure this timeline was accurate and contained important moments that showed how we reached the situation that we found ourselves again. So instead of going all into this Gettysburg Address, we're going to call that another show for today. Everyone, Focus Daily. We out.